committee has called for a blanket ban on gambling ads and a new tax to fund regulation of the industry. I spoke a short time ago to the independent member for Mackellar, Sophie Scomps, who made this observation about problem gambling.
Gambling is to Australia what guns are to the US. People are being harmed by this. Yes, that it may have a place, but we need to regulate it.
For more on this, I'm joined by Cantwell, the Chief Executive of Responsible Wagering Australia, which represents key figures and companies in this industry of gambling. Kai, thanks for your time. This recommendation, first of all, in the committee suggesting a blanket ban, what's your overall view of it?
G'day, Kieran. Great to be with you. Look, Responsible Wagering Australia's position on the blanket ban and the implementation over a period of 3 years is clear, and that is that this is a massive overreach by the inquiry, and it disregards the evidence that was provided to the inquiry. It disregards the evidence that this will rip hundreds of millions of dollars away from sports and broadcasters.
When you look at the problems, though, that obviously that's the positive side of those dollars going into sport and media, but there is a lot of downside to gambling, particularly problem gambling. You would concede that?
Well, look, Responsible Wagering Australia members have some of the best consumer protections in the world. The consumer protections that only exist within account-based gambling, such as those services offered by our members. We can identify in real time problem gambling before it starts, and in real time, in many cases, we can intervene to stop problem gambling before it actually occurs.
So what would you like to see instead of the blanket ban? What is the industry proposing?
Well, we would like to see, I guess first and foremost, we'd like to welcome the comments from Ministers Rowland and Rishworth today for their commitment to work with impacted industries, being the wagering providers that I represent, being broadcasters and being sports. And what we'd like to see is that genuine consultation with industries and a suite of comprehensive but evidence-based measures that could be implemented. And that could include all of the advertising mediums, including broadcast, social media, out-of-home advertising and the like, to ensure that we get the balance right of ensuring we understand and respond to the community concern around gambling advertising, but also that we get the balance right of, as I said, not ripping those hundreds of millions of dollars away from sport integrity programs, keeping sport free or cheap to participate in, and keeping sport on free-to-air TV.
So would you suggest something like more caps on the advertising as opposed to just that blanket ban? Is that what you're envisaging?
Yeah, look, I think that's one sensible measure that could be further investigated. And of course, we'd need to work across the wagering service provider industry, across broadcast and with the sports as well to ensure that we get the balance right. But yes, in short, volume and frequency caps could be one measure that could be implemented in the broadcast space.
Representing a number of those gambling companies and providers, Kai Cantwell, Chief Executive of Responsible Wagering Australia, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.